When the baby boomers start retiring in 3 years, Social Security will start heading toward the red. In 2017, the system will start paying out more in benefits than it collects in payroll taxes. Every year after that, the shortfall will get worse, and by 2041, Social Security will be bankrupt. Franklin Roosevelt did a wonderful thing when he created Social Security. The system has meant a lot for a lot of people. Social Security has provided a safety net that has provided dignity and peace of mind for millions of Americans in their retirement. Yet there's a hole in the safety net, because Congresses have made promises it cannot keep for a younger generation. As we fix Social Security, some things won't change. Seniors and people with disabilities will get their checks. All Americans born before 1950 will receive the full benefits. Our duty to save Social Security begins with making the system permanently solvent. But our duty does not end there. We also have a responsibility to improve Social Security by directing extra help to those most in need and by making it a better deal for younger workers. Now, as Congress begins work on legislation, we must be guided by 3 goals. First, millions of Americans depend on Social Security checks as a primary source of retirement income, so we must keep this promise to future retirees as well. As a matter of fairness, I propose that future generations receive benefits equal to or greater than the benefits today's seniors get. Secondly, I believe a reform system should protect those who depend on Social Security the most. So I propose a Social Security system in the future where benefits for low-income workers will grow faster than benefits for people who are better off. By providing more generous benefits for low-income retirees, we'll make this commitment. If you work hard and pay into Social Security your entire life, you will not retire into poverty. This reform would solve most of the funding challenges facing Social Security. A variety of options are available to solve the rest of the problem, and I will work with Congress on any good faith proposal that does not raise the payroll tax rate or harm our economy. I know we can find a solution to the financial problems of Social Security that is sensible, permanent, and fair. Third, any reform of Social Security must replace the empty promises being made to younger workers with real assets, real money. I believe the best way to achieve this goal is to give younger workers the option, the opportunity, if they so choose, of putting a portion of their payroll taxes into a voluntary personal retirement account. Because this money is saved and invested, younger workers would have the opportunity to receive a higher rate of return on their money than the current Social Security system can provide.
President Bush in his primetime news conference last night. Joining us on the phone for reaction is Virginia Democratic Congressmember Jim Moran. Welcome to Democracy Now!
Thank you. It's an honor to be on the station.
Well, thanks very much. Can you respond to President Bush's plans for Social Security?
First of all, Social Security is a national insurance system. It's not an investment account. It's there in case the breadwinner of the household dies, and their survivors will have at least money to get by on. Or if you become disabled, you can get those benefits. Or when you are so old that you can't work any longer, there will be retirement money available for you. But it's a minimum threshold. We have retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, your passbook savings account. We need a national insurance system. And I think what President Bush is going to do is to means test it, which on the face of it makes a lot of sense, except that it will lose the political support of the people who have the power and the influence in this country. The reason Social Security is such a popular topic now is that everybody participates. If he cuts the benefits for the middle class and upper class by 40%, which is what this plan entails, fewer people will really care what happens to Social Security, and that's not in anybody's interest. Last night, we passed a budget resolution that took billions out of the TANF program. Does anybody even know what TANF means? It's the old welfare program. It's assistance to needy families. But because there's so little political support for it, it goes by without much discussion. The Medicaid program, we took $10 billion from that last night, supposedly so that we could afford the tax cuts of over $100 billion. But the only reason people talk about Medicaid is because the states are upset they might have to make up the money. It's a 50% state matching program. What happens is that if you means test this, and it's only the poorer people who have a vested interest in maintaining it, it won't be maintained. And I think that's what President Bush has in mind. The only thing that is really fiscally solvent of any size in this country is the Social Security Trust Fund. It's not going bankrupt. Our country is going bankrupt. Last night, as part of the budget resolution, they increased the debt ceiling to over $8 trillion. We have a $10 trillion economy, but we've got a debt of 80% of that economy. He doesn't seem to be concerned about that. Our health care crisis is in bankruptcy. But here he's taken on Social Security, which has a $1.7 trillion surplus. We're gaining surplus every year. In 2018, we'll have $4.5 trillion. And then from that time, for another approximately 35 to 40 years, there'll be enough to pay out full benefits, and after that, about 80% of benefits. That's not bankruptcy, and it's wrong to be telling people the system is going bankrupt so that you can pass an ideologically motivated plan basically to dismantle the whole system. I think that this is all about dismantling a program that is defining of what the Democratic Party was all about, that was established by Franklin Roosevelt. It's the one program that really is solvent. So why should we make it insolvent by taking approximately $2 trillion over the first 10 years, $5 trillion over the next 20 years, and taking that money out of the fund, fencing it off, putting it in private accounts? These private accounts, are not going to amount to much when people retire, because the Social Security system says it's going to come back in and take out of those accounts the amount that Social Security would have earned otherwise. The Goldman Sachs economist just estimated that Social Security will earn about 3.3%. It's actually earning over 7% per year now, but it'll earn about 3.3%, which is as much as they estimate the stock market is going to be earning on average over that period of time. So they're going to be left with very little. But in the meantime, we will have borrowed trillions out of the trust funds, then out of the general fund to make it up to the trust fund. So we're creating a situation of fiscal insolvency in order to dismantle a program that is the last one we need to worry about right now. We need to be worrying about Medicare. We need to be worrying about the federal budget and the hundreds of billions that our kids are going to have to pay in interest costs on that federal deficit. So, I just think he has his priorities out of order. I think this is all about ideology rather than fiscal responsibility.